Okay, in this video we're going to talk about splines. So back over here to our panel, right? We're in our Create tab. And next to our Geometry tab, we have something called Shapes. So we're going to select that. And you're going to see that the pull down here says Splines. And under Splines, you're going to see line, circle, arc, N-gon, which stands for polygon. You'll enter in the number of sides. It'll give you between a triangle to, I guess you end up with a circle if you put in enough sides, and I'm not quite sure if that's, I'm trying to remember how many sides that is before you see a circle, like 12 or 16. Text, an egg, freehand, meaning you just draw something freehand, a rectangle, an ellipse, a donut, a star, a helix, and a section. Now, all of those are two-dimensional with the exception of the helix. And we'll talk about that one last. Okay? So when I click on line, you're going to see that under creation method, we're going to get some new options. The initial type is the starting point of the line, and the drag type is the line style it creates. So under initial type, corner means you're going to create a straight line, and smooth means you're going to create a curve. The drag type corner means straight. The drag type smooth and Bezier are both curved. So let's just start with corner and corner. Okay? So I'm going to come over here in my, actually I'm going to work in my front view on this, and you'll see why in a second. Work on my front view on this, and I'm going to just create a rough outline of a character. And again, very rough. We're barely and you're going to see what happens. Now when I come back to close this by clicking on my original start point, which is yellow, when I click on that, it's going to say close spline, and I want to say yes. And what that now means is that this is a closed spline, which means it's one object. If I didn't close it, it would be open. Now, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to not close it. And I'm going to show you the difference. Okay, so that's not closed. You see there's a big giant opening right there? I did not close that. Here is the difference. I'm going to select the first one, and I'm going to go to my Modify tab. And under my Modify list, I'm going to pick Extrude. E-X-T-R-U-D-E, Extrude. And then I'm going to give it an amount, and that's the thickness of my character. Negative goes that way, positive goes that way. Okay? So just going to use that default. No rhyme or reason for using it, just it is. Okay, so now I'm going to select the one I didn't close. I'm going to add the extrude modifier. And do you see the difference? The first one that I closed creates a 3D solid. The second one that I didn't close just creates a rough outline. And now this is extruded. It's almost like if you took a piece of paper and folded it and looked down in there, it would be hollow. This is not hollow. So that's the difference. So if you're working on something and it doesn't, and you extrude it and it creates this hollow object and you wanted a solid object, it's because the spline wasn't closed. Okay? And that's why. All right. Now, let me, I'm going to take off the extrude modifier for both of these just by deleting it. You can remove a modifier by right-clicking on it and deleting it. Okay, so I'm actually going to delete that shape. I don't need it now. Okay, so I have this shape, and it's kind of rough looking, and I want to clean it up. And I can do that. So when I select my object, if I right-click on it, you're going to see over here on this Tools 1 at the top that I have Spline, Segment, Vertex, And that allows me to make adjustments to the spline, the segment, or the vertex. Or I can just select it and go to the Edit tab and see the same thing over here. Okay, vertex, when I click on that, you see what happens? Make this larger. You can see the vertices, which are points between the lines. Okay? The segments are the lines between the points. And then the spline is the whole thing itself. Right? So let's go back to the vertex. Now, really cool thing is you can click on any of these, select the move and select and move tool, and then adjust them. So this is how I talked about earlier, how it's easier to just throw something on there, or put something on there, and then edit it in some cases. This is one of those cases. By refining this, I can, and especially if I use this grid in the background to help me do that, work on that grid as much as possible. It is there to help you. In fact, let me do that now and just show you. I'm going to move every single one of these to a grid point. Let's go right there. Okay, so you can see I can now come in and refine this to better look like what I'm looking for. And it helps, me make this a little more symmetrical and aligned and all that good stuff. Okay. So say I've spent some time doing this and I've gotten this character exactly the way I want him. I'm going to keep doing this. I get obsessed with like making things perfect, which is both a blessing and a curse. Okay, so let me force myself to stop right there. Okay, say I'm relatively happy with this, except for the fact that I don't want his head to look like a, what is that, a septagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-sided shape. I want his head to be rounded. So this is what I can do. I'm in vertex mode over here by having selected the vertex. I can select with a crossing window, click my left mouse button, hold it down, and drag out until I see my marching ants. Actually, they're not marching. Just a dashed outline. I can select all of those and will now select all 5 of those vertices that were within that window. You can also hold or select one and hold down the tab key. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Let's get this backwards. The control key. There we go. That's right, actually. I actually got that right. I always try to say shift key, but it's not the shift key in 3D Studio Max. It's a control key. Okay, so if I hold down the control key, I could also select them individually. If I hold down the tab key, if I can find it, go, I can remove one of them. That wasn't the tab key then. My keyboard is not right next to me. Tab. Okay. Well, it used to be tab. Let's see, what is it? Might be function on this keyboard. They changed some of the keys on the newer computers. Yeah, nope, I don't know what it is. Normally it's tab. Normally control adds and tab subtracts. Not working for me here today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just select these. And I'm going to right click. And you see this has changed. I'm under my tools 1. These options have changed. So if I change this to smooth, look what happens. It's rounded those out into arcs for me. Right click, smooth. Right click, smooth. Same thing down here. And now my gingerbread man looks a little bit more like a gingerbread man. And again, I can go in further and modify these. Make whatever adjustments I want to make. That's kind of a huge arm. Let's move them over here. See, I'm playing off that grid because it really does help me make smart choices quickly. Especially in the beginning when you're practicing this and you're learning this, use that grid. It will really be a good friend to you. It will help you align things and work with things while you're working on your hand-eye coordination. Okay, so now that I have my gingerbread man, say I'm happy with him, I got to click out of vertex to get out of that mode. Select my character and apply my extrude modifier. And let's not make him that. Let's make him just a little bit. And now, voila, I have my character. And I can continue to add parts and pieces to him. I can come in here and say, okay, I want to add some, let's go back here, sphere. I want to add a nose. I gotta move it because it puts it on those black lines. Right, so now he's got this cute little button nose. And let's say I'm gonna go back to my splines and I want to make a circle. And go to the Modify tab. And let's right click. Oh, it's not allowing me from there. Object properties. Nope, let's do this. You just go to the Modify tab. It didn't let you. Alright, we won't deal with that right now. Let's just say that that's fine. I don't want to do anything with it. Or, if I want, I can squish it with the Select and Uniform Scale tool. And then I want to extrude that. In that I don't want to extrude it that much. And now I have this eye on my... So I'm going to hold down my Shift key. Just grab that red. And give him a couple of eyes there. Okay. And I can decorate my cookie with additional splines. Okay. We're going to stop this video here and we'll continue in the next video.